So far away, Lucas, it is once again that time of lockdown where I look in the mirror and go, there's nothing I can do with my hair.
It's a good thing that no one's going to see you like this, Karl.
Yeah. It's great. I don't think anybody out there is going to disagree with the statement that dating is difficult. However, there are a few things that you can do to make wooing the opposite or same sex a little easier, such as being a big dick millionaire actor starring in one of the biggest movies on the planet. Or at least you'd think so, because if a story by John Boyega is anything to go by, even that isn't a guaranteed way to ensure success on a date.
I mean, I just don't understand how John Boyega is still single. Like, what a guy.
I'm not sure if he's single right now, but at the time this story takes place, before the release of The Force Awakens, which will, the reasons for noting that will become important in a moment, but yeah, he's just such a charming guy. The more I learn about John Boyega, the more I realise he is a fucking legend. Like, everything he does is amazing. All he does, all day, is just annihilate people on Twitter, and it's fucking glorious. I love it. And I think we even have an episode of the podcast we record that's simply titled John Boyega is a Legend.
Yeah, it's true. So you said that this was around the time Force Awakens came out, is that right?
Yes, the time this story takes place is just before the worldwide premiere of The Force Awakens. And that's important because John Boyega had been in a couple of projects before then. I think most famously he's in Attack the Block.
Mm-hmm.
And the line that I always hear people quote from him in that is where he's talking about Naruto, but with his South London accent, he's like, Naruto!
Go home, lock your door, do your homework, watch Naruto. Just stay inside tonight, get me?
I think we've talked before about how John Boyega was one of those actors where the moment he appeared on screen in that film, you looked and went, he's going to be a big deal. He steals every scene he's in. He's going to be a massive big deal in a couple of years, and you fast forward a couple of years, and he is. So to set the scene, John Boyega is somewhat well known, but he's not like the worldwide star he is today as a result of Star Wars. And he reportedly was on a date in New York with an unnamed lady. And the date was, by all accounts, going really well. Right up until the date asked John Boyega, so, what is it you do?
So did John Boyega just say like, oh yeah, I'm an actor?
No, because that's not the way John Boyega rolls. And he spied an opportunity to do something many, including myself, would later refer to as an absolutely legendary baller moment. And they just so happened to be going through Times Square in a taxi at the time. And John Boyega noticed over his date's shoulder a huge 40-foot tall poster for The Force Awakens with his face on it. Do you know the one of him holding the lightsaber, the lie poster?
Oh, yeah.
The one that made you think he was going to be a Jedi, and then he got sidelined for 2 movies straight. But that poster was in the background, and John Boyega just went, well, actually, I do that. And he pointed at the poster, and the date turned around, and her face, reportedly, dropped like a stone.
What do you do for a living? Looked up and I said, that? It was me with a saber like this.
How on earth, Karl, does that not just seal the deal?
It's like such a baller move. It sounds like something you'd make up for a movie, but it actually happened in real life to John Boyega. And he was probably anticipating that the date would find it funny or be like, impressed. Because this is like his first big, like Hollywood role that he'd landed. And he'll be very, very proud of the fact that I'm going to be in this big, huge movie. Like the first Star Wars movie in like 30 years. Holy shit, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Was the prequels? I always get confused with the timeline of Star Wars. It's probably 20
I think it was probably about 15 years or something.
Yeah, okay, so my bad. Closer to 15, 20 years, that sort of thing. But even still, like, Star Wars is back, and I'm one of the faces that's bringing it back. And the date just looked at it and went, I'm sorry, John, but I can't live that kind of life. Referring to like she can't be on the arm of a celebrity. She didn't want that loud and busy lifestyle. And John Boyega has since said, I respected her for that, but it only made her hotter because it's like, oh, she's so cool, she doesn't even want to be famous. It's like, nah! You know that thing? It's like, she's already super hot, but like her being, you know what, nah, I can just live without being on the arm of one of the most famous men on the planet. I'm done. It's like, nah! I was like to think at that moment she just started fading out of existence. It's like, no. And John Boyega's just there like, no, come back. She's gone. And like, fair play to him for trying that. Like, he shot his shot, but God, I think 99 times out of 100 that move would have worked. But he just so happened to be talking to the one person who was just not at all impressed. And in fact, had the exact opposite reaction intended to seeing a 40-foot high poster of his face. Because it reminds me a little bit of the film White Chicks, where they go to Terry Crews's character's house and he has the portrait of himself, like with like the fur.
Who's that?
Oh, the big buff bald dude with the fur?
I want to get to that level of confidence where the only thing I want to look at when I'm in my own bed is a photo of myself naked. As mentioned, unfortunately, the date did not go well, and John Boyega says, she was, from after that point, I could tell, the spark was gone. Maybe if he just said, I'm an actor, things would have gone a bit differently, but going for that move of pointing towards the 40-foot tall John Boyega just absolutely cratered that date is amazing to me.
Oh god, she just wanted to find out who's a bus driver or something, Karl.
My dad was a bus driver, don't I hate on bus drivers.
I just mean she didn't want a guy just donning the biggest billboard in Times Square. That's fair.
That's fair enough, yeah. My dad can drive a bendy bus. And it scared the shit out of me when he told me. I said, Dad, how do you know where the back end of the bendy bus is? And he went, you guess.
Oh no.
So I'm scared of bendy buses now. Thanks, Dad. So far away, Lucas, earlier in this video we mentioned the film Attack the Block and the fact that from the moment John Boyega appears on screen you can tell, yeah, this dude's going places. He's going to be a big, huge star because he's so charismatic, he has so much screen presence despite the fact that this is his first big role. And in that vein, Lucas, let's now discuss the opposite of that, and that's actors who got a huge push that you looked at and go, they're never going to make it. Please stop trying to make this person a thing, Hollywood. And I'm going to open the floor with almost everyone on Game of Thrones under the age of 30. And by that I mean your Sophie Turners, your Maisie Williamses and your Kit Haringtons, who are all fine actors and actresses and they're good on that show, but they cannot lead a movie on. Right, as evidenced by Kit Harington being in Pompeii, which fucking bombed, Sophie Turner being in Dark Phoenix, which fucking bombed, Maisie Williams being in, is it New Mutants? And there were just so many young actors on that show that Hollywood tried to make a thing, banking purely on the fact that people like Game of Thrones, they must like this actor. It's like, no, we like the character.
Yeah.
Not the reason that actor is so popular is because people like the characters, because no one knew who the fuck they were before, so we can see them as the character. That's it. And Hollywood never made that connection. So, any for you? Actors or actors, they keep trying to make them a thing?
Well, I was actually going to go the opposite way. And
okay.
I thought of a person who I saw and went immediately they're going to be successful.
Okay, go for it.
And it's actually Robert Sheehan.
You have to.
You know who he is?
You have to remind me.
So he was in Misfits, and now he plays Klaus in Umbrella Academy. Yeah, the moment I saw him on Misfits, he as you said, he just steals every scene he's in. And I think he was only in the first couple of seasons, and I was like, I'm gonna see him in a lot of places, and I didn't for a while. And then again, he just steals the Umbrella Academy away from so many scenes.
And by the same extension, you've got the guy who plays Ramsay Bolton. I'm not sure the actor's name, but when he's on that show, he's going to do big things. And I think he's the one young actor on Game of Thrones who actually managed to get away with it. He's been quietly successful in the background, by which I mean he's not had huge, embarrassing flops directly attributed to him. Well, speaking of TV shows and actors you just look at and go, yeah, they're going to be a big deal. You've got Richard Ayoade in the IT Crowd. Second one he's on screen, he's funny. He doesn't even need to say anything. And you know how good he is because when they tried to make that awful failed American version of the IT Crowd, they just kept Richard Ayoade in it and he has the same lines.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. I watched the first episode of the American one and it's Richard Ayoade and the same lines, just surrounded by a couple of different actors. And I was like, what is going on?
It was bizarre. It makes you think, what if they're just going to read the same lines and have one of the same actors? Just buy the rights to the show and air it in America? If you're just going to make the same one again. And to end on, since we're talking about the IT Crowd and actors who from second one they're on screen, you go, that guy's going places, I have to mention Matt Berry. Every individual moment of his first appearance on that show is incredible in isolation and together create one of the funniest scenes in television for me. Just from his appearance of kicking down the church door and just saying, Father! Like this insanely awesome voice. Father! pushing over a coffin and then getting into a slap fight with a priest. It's the best.
And his voice is incredible.
His voice is amazing. Like, I think he did a lot of voiceover work before that, but some of his lines put me on my arse. Like, my favourite one's been, "Damn these electric sex pants," which you can only imagine coming from him. Because he delivers it with such sincerity.
Damn these electric sex pants.
Like, even just little character moments put me on my arse. Like when he finds a gun in his desk, and then they cut to him later in the episode, just pointing out of his window, going, "Bang, bang! Take that, Mr. Lollipop Man." It's so good.
Take that, Lollipop Man.
Why is Matt Berry so fucking awesome?